Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is an absolute pleasure for me to welcome you this month's. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this month's $1 Billion Luncheon in Public-Private Partnerships and CRA Contracting Opportunities. We want to thank everyone that's taken the time out today to join us. We are excited for all of our guest speakers that is going to share some valuable information with you today. We appreciate your time, and we ask you to continue to stay with us throughout the program, as I'm sure it won't disappoint. Before we get started, I'd like to go over some house rules with you so that we can make this an enjoyable experience for everyone that is in attendance. We would ask that you will please put your cell phones on vibrate or airplane mode. Please mute yourself upon entering the meeting room. Unmute only when necessary. Please be sure to include your full name on the screen for attendance purposes. Also, to participate, we will have a roll call. Please ensure your background is clean and neat. Look into the webcam when speaking, and please help us to eliminate any distractions in the background. Be aware of your audio and video settings as we focus on our agenda for today. Before we get started, part of the NAWIC tradition is to open us up in prayer. And before we do that, I'd just like to share our vision with you. At the National Association of Black Women in Construction, our vision is to build lasting strategic partnerships with first-rate organizations and individuals that will provide groundbreaking and innovative solutions for Black women in construction and their respective communities. And before every event, we like to start with a word of prayer. So I would like to welcome Ms. Margaret Anglin to open us up with the invocation.
Good morning, everyone. It is always a privilege and a pleasure to always invite God's presence into whatever we do. At NAWIC, it is our motto to always allow the Lord to lead and guide our direction in where we go. So I'm just going to ask you that you let's just ask God's blessing and presence in our meeting today. Most gracious and ever-loving Father, Lord, we want to thank you, oh God, this morning for blessing us to see another day. Lord, we thank you, oh God, that you have allowed us to be among the living. Now, God, as we're about to get into the business of NAWIC, we invite your presence. Let your spirit lead and guide everything that will be done and said. We ask that you bless every business that is on this call. Lord God, give us directions and let the words that will come from the speakers, oh God, be a blessing unto every business. Lord, help us to be able to explore opportunities that will allow our business to grow and thrive. Lord, and for these things we do say thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Margaret, for that beautiful prayer. We're going to move on to the part of our presentation, and I would like to introduce to you Ms. Iya Sequoia Carade, who will be introducing our next speaker. Thank you, Iya.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again for joining NAWIC's amazing $1 Billion Luncheon series. Let's keep it going. Become a member or sponsor via NAWIC.org. As mentioned, my name is Iya Sequoia Carade of NAWIC, New Jersey. Please allow me to introduce Ms. Lisa Bouillon, Executive Director at AIAI, the Association for the Improvement of American Infrastructure. Convening public and private sectors through education and outreach, Lisa Bouillon ensures that the P3 conversation centers on best practices and quality. With more than 20 years of high-profile strategic initiative management and operations experience, Ms. Bouillon oversees every aspect of AIAI's tactical operations and national public outreach initiatives. Ms. Bouillon is instrumental in AIAI's rapid growth in terms of membership, brand awareness, and prolific organizational expansion across the country. Ms. Bouillon leads the organization's nationwide efforts with a focus on good policy, strong programs, and partnership as a means to building the organization's structure while concurrently promoting national public-private partnership, P3 growth. Please welcome Ms. Lisa Bouillon.
Thank you, Ida. Ms. Bouillon, you may go ahead and unmute yourself.
There you go. It always takes me a moment. I apologize. Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today to talk with everyone. And I just want to say to you, you are an inspiration. The work that you do, that this organization does, the support that you give to women in the construction industry is needed and valued. So thank you for that. Again, my name is Lisa Bouillon. I'm Executive Director of AIAI. We are the leading P3 association in the United States. We share best practices, information, and education on public-private partnerships. I was asked to share a little bit about P3s today, not what they are, but really the value these partnerships bring to small and diverse businesses. When delivering infrastructure, there must always be equity in the asset being delivered, whether it's a road, a school, or a government facility. Who delivers it is as important as how it is delivered. We must be inclusive and encourage firms to take part in these projects. P3s do work for small and diverse businesses. The long-term nature of these contracts allow for more jobs and the ability to create, in some cases, career opportunities. 30 years, some of these terms are. And that's during the operations and maintenance phase of the projects. I do caution firms to fully understand contracts and requirements and the commitments P3s require to ensure that these opportunities do work for your businesses. But there are so many firms out there that can assist you in ensuring that you're partnering on the right project with the right people, and you have all the information you need to do so successfully. As an advocate for public-private partnerships, AIAI promotes the need for diversity in all that we do and all that we build in the United States. Creating an inclusive environment that engages individuals, small businesses, minority businesses, women-owned businesses is reflective of the full spectrum of our nation. And it's a key component to the success of public-private partnerships. We all benefit when everyone is afforded an opportunity to have a seat at the table. We think better, build better, and collaborative work helps us understand what's important. And only then are we able to meet the needs of our communities. So the DBE community is very important to the success of the P3 industry and vice versa. AIAI understands the synergies that exist between this innovative project delivery model and the communities they serve. Given the level of support from both the public and private industry, there is no greater opportunity to empower small, emerging, and minority contractors to develop sustainable businesses, create jobs, achieve bonding requirements and needs, and build legacy wealth. I want to share a thought. Joe Lewis, he's principal of Business Transformation Group, BTG. He's an AIAI member, longtime AIAI member, and he's chair of our Diversity and Inclusion Committee. And he had shared this sentiment. The jobs are there, the opportunities are there, and it's up to small and Black-owned businesses to engage and seize those opportunities. Major corporations and businesses are committed to DBE utilization. They are looking for qualified business partners to work with. P3s allow for the flexibility and create the atmosphere ripe for significant DBE business participation. P3s are about economic empowerment and growth opportunities. To create this success, it takes a village. Everyone needs to get involved. Larger companies, local government, trade associations, working together to ensure there is diverse participation in the P3 market. The job of the small business owner is to become opportunity ready, because the opportunities are out there, and if you are not ready, they will pass you by. So don't let these opportunities pass you by. Reach out with questions, learn what projects are happening, reach out to your colleagues at NAWIC. AI is here. We can offer assistance when it comes to understanding the model. And I do urge you to look at the Greenwood project that Joe Lewis is spearheading. There's opportunities there to learn more about what's happening across the United States. So thank you for your time, for listening to me, for allowing me to share some thoughts with you.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Very much appreciated for the knowledge that you shared. As a general contractor and owner of JMP Group, I am very appreciative of the work that you do, and I'm pretty sure that many of our attendees today could definitely benefit from the work that you do as well. Next, I would like to invite Ms. Josie Hood to do the introduction of our Woman in Spotlight. Can you bring up that slide for her, please? Okay. Josie, can you take yourself off mute?
I can now. Sorry, guys, I was unmuted. Good morning. Thank you so much for attending. Sue Lee is the founder and CEO of Lasura Strategies, LLC, a consulting firm that provides infrastructure owners and developers, commercial and strategic advice throughout the full life cycle of the capital projects, from planning to procurement to implementation. She has over 20 years of experience as a financial advisor, legal advisor, developer, and public official on infrastructure projects and financing transactions. Sue's recent experience includes advising the Gateway Development Commission on the Hudson Tunnel Project, New Jersey Economic Development Authority on New Jersey Wind Port, Ports of Long Beach on the Pier Wind Offshore Wind Terminal, and Los Angeles World Airports on their APM and Conrac P3 projects. Prior to funding Lasura, Sue was the Senior Managing Director at Ernst & Young Infrastructure Advisors and an attorney in the banking and project finance groups at Allen & Overy and Milbank. She also served as the Senior International Attorney at Millennium Challenge Corporation, a U.S. federal corporation that provides economic assistance to developing countries. Sue received her JD from the University of Pennsylvania Law School and her BA in English from the University of Pennsylvania.
Thank you very much, Josie. Thank you. Everyone, please join us as we honor a trailblazer in her own right, Miss Sue Lee, our Woman in the Spotlight.
Thank you so much. It is really an honor to be here, to be recognized, to follow my good friend Lisa, who has been really a trailblazer in her own right in this industry, and AI is a great presenter to follow, a speaker to follow as we talk about P3. So I would love to just share a little bit about my background. And I know that I've been given a 15-minute time limit to say my remarks, but I would love to keep my remarks short and open up the conversation to Q&A so I can help really spread the education about P3s and what the industry opportunities or this group potentially, to piggyback off of Lisa's remarks. So as Josie mentioned, my name is Sue Lee. I started Lasura about a year ago. Prior to Lasura, I spent my entire career in big firms, big firms, law firms, accounting firms, consulting firms. And, now that I am my own small business, woman-owned business, minority business, um, you know, subcontractor to other big firms, I have an entirely new appreciation of the role of small business and the challenges of small businesses and minority-owned businesses in this industry. I have two daughters. We were recently watching television about, sort of the first woman in the command center at NASA, and my daughter said to me, "Can you imagine being the only woman like that in this big place?"
Mhm.
And I laughed out loud and I said, "I don't need to imagine it, honey. Like, that's my life every day. I am often the only woman in the room in many of the boardrooms, conference rooms, construction site trailers that I'm in." And so I think that women in the infrastructure industry, whether it's directly in construction on job sites, in engineering firms, in financial, legal, other kind of advisory firms, really have a unique challenge, but also at this time, unique opportunity. I think we're in a really great position right now to lift ourselves up, to take advantage of all the different state, local, and federal programs out there that are really trying to bridge the gaps and divides and empower a lot of the communities that have been underserved and marginalized for years. So, as I said, I'm an advisor, I'm a consultant, I'm not directly in construction, but I think all the work that I do is very much focused on getting projects built and then maintained in a responsible way throughout their life cycles. I've been passionate about infrastructure throughout my career. As we've talked about some of the different roles that I've played, and what I find interesting about P3s is really how they bring different disciplines together. I think infrastructure can be a very siloed type of endeavor where you've got contractors, designers, the kind of funders and all not talking to each other, and P3s only work when all the different elements that make a project happen come together seamlessly. So let me just take a step back and begin by explaining what is a P3. And I think that it's public-private partnership is a term that's thrown around very broadly. Sometimes people talk about any kind of endeavor in which the private sector plays a heavy role as a P3. And I'd like to dispel some of those myths. The way Lisa and I define P3, the way the construction and infrastructure industry focuses on P3 really is not as broad as you can call anything with private sector a public-private partnership. There are three key differences for a P3 infrastructure project to traditionally delivered infrastructure projects in the public sector. One is that P3s aggregate design, construction, operations, and maintenance scopes under a single developer and single contract. So rather than DB, DBB with O&M contracts coming later, these have a single procurement for all of those elements in one single contract, with the second key difference from other types of project delivery methods, which is financing is also the developer scope. So the financing element is the glue that binds all those different elements throughout the course of the entire project. Private financing in the form of debt, but also private equity capital is a key component. I would say if it doesn't have private equity, it's not really a P3, and I think a lot of folks in the industry would agree with that. There are other structures in which, construction financing is provided by contractors. Some folks like to call that a P3, and if you stretch the definition, maybe you can get there, but I think there could be a healthy debate about whether that's a P3 or not, because that contractor financing alone is usually not going to take operations, maintenance, life cycle risk, which is an inherent part of this structure. So, as I said, the developer long-term financing with private equity is a critical component. The next third key difference with public-private partnerships that's really different from other types of delivery methods is that you've got long-term contracts that are using very innovative financial structures and contracting terms, including performance standards, payment mechanisms, risk allocation terms to reduce the whole life total project cost and very much focus on improving the long-term asset maintenance and outcomes of the project. The goal of P3 is not just to get the project built. The goal of the P3 is to get it built and then ensure that the useful life of the asset, whether that's 50 years or 100 years, can actually be realized through proper, proactive life cycle and rehab work. I think that, all of the different things we've heard about US infrastructure really stems from that second component missing, where public infrastructure, civil infrastructure is really focused on shovels in the ground, get the thing built, and then, oh, as a public agency, if we don't have enough money, then we defer maintenance, and we defer maintenance until the asset is on its last leg. And thereby it reduces something that was built with a 50-year useful life to a fraction of that. And so that's what P3s are really trying to address is getting more bang for your buck and using that private financing to sometimes make a project happen that otherwise could not happen. I'll go back to a little bit about, again, why I think this is such an exciting sector to be in and when I think it works, why it can be a really rewarding experience for everybody involved. So, the public infrastructure market has had historic challenges. We've already talked about the emphasis on construction and deferring major maintenance, but I think that they also have limited capital budgets. And so sometimes if they don't have all the money that they need to do a project up front, it just gets deferred as a priority until more money is available, and sometimes they never happen. By bringing the private sector as a partner into the upfront financing and funding aspect of the project, a public agency can spread the wealth around to projects that are not suitable for P3 more and basically have a scenario where instead of paying for the whole project's construction up front, they're working with the private sector to use quite often like a mortgage-like structure. They make a small down payment or even no down payment on construction. Private sector funds the balance of it, and then they can pay increments over time over a long-term contract. 20 to 40 years is often the term of a P3's operating period, and it's during that time that the public agency fully compensates the developer for the project through mortgage-like payments in annual increments. And performance is really a key. So if they don't get the performance that they want out of the developer, they can reduce those payments and apply deductions as liquidated damages for the non-performance. The other thing to consider right now in terms of why P3s are a really important tool in the toolbox for public agencies is that new technologies are emerging in infrastructure. It's not the traditional kind of civil infrastructure that agencies have to be responsible for now. EV charging stations, broadband, managed lanes with dynamic tolling. These are all the kinds of things that are, now old news in some jurisdictions and states and still kind of aspirational for other agencies. And so as public agencies are feeling a resource crunch, a technology gap within their internal teams, they're looking more and more to the private sector to bring that world-class knowledge and supplement their in-house resources. A key example of something like this is the project that I worked on at LAX. Los Angeles World Airports is a robust, one of the best and biggest airport authorities in the US. They run LAX, one of the busiest airports in the world. They were not a transit agency, and they decided that they needed to build a new airport automated people mover between their main terminal and a new rental car facility that they were building. And in order to do that and operate that asset, they realized the amount of resourcing that they would need. They realized they don't have an entire transit agency attached to their airport authority. So they wanted to turn to the private sector to bring a turnkey lump sum, both construction and operating contract, take the risks on that, and fully staff the operations and manage that on behalf of the airport authority in a way that would be lowest cost to them, highest performance to them, and also minimizing sort of the internal administrative buildup that would be required if they chose to do more of this internally. So that's a great example of how you can use public-private partnerships to build out capacity that's outside of the core business of the public agency. And I think it's important to just recognize that P3s are not for every project. They're not for smaller projects. Most of the P3s in the US have been traditionally for larger projects in the 500 million or above range, or mega complex projects. We're starting to see them becoming more accessible to the smaller project range. So we've seen projects in the 100-ish million dollar range, but the very small projects, like a $10 million project, $20 million projects, are much harder to structure as P3s. One of the reason being transaction costs, financing costs, making it not really pencil out to be better than the traditional options that public owners have. So they're not for everyone, but when they work and they can bring all the synergies, economies of scale, they can provide really great solutions to tough challenges, both from a funding but also technical level. Um, I think there's also complexity of P3s. As I mentioned, they are the kinds of projects in which a lot of stars have to align and work together really well. So, as somebody who is a consultant that likes solving problems, P3s present a lot of them. And, I just really enjoy the mental exercise involved in planning and procuring P3 contracts, negotiations with contractors and developers. For some reason, I'm a glutton for punishment. I love it. And then I think that the last thing that I really love about P3s is the community itself. I was just talking yesterday to someone about how I know that I'm in the right industry, because when I go to industry conferences, which are really an important part of our industry, I'm never dreading it. I'm not sitting here thinking, oh God, I have to go to this conference and schmooze with these people. It is something that I look forward to because I get to hang out with people like Lisa. I get to hang out with a lot of like-minded professionals who are passionate about the work that they do, which is very much focused on the world that they live in. I think if there are common threads to the P3 professionals in the industry, it's that we care about truly building a better world, doing it more efficiently and intelligently, and making sure that all this work that we put into the construction, the engineering, the financing of infrastructure lasts. And for some reason, when you bring a lot of people who care about those fundamentals together in the same room, there are a lot of other chemistries and shared values that seem to bind us as a collective. And, one of the things that I'll say is I didn't realize how important that was until I left the security of a really big firm with a really big brand name to go out on my own as Sue Lee, essentially solo practitioner with a brand new firm, and get the outpouring of support and encouragement and new business that's been coming since I've left. I think it's really a testament to the industry as a whole and the people in it. So I'd love to just pause there and open up the floor to questions. They're usually a lot about what is and isn't a P3. And I invite Lisa to also step in, even though, I'm supposed to be, because I know that she can be a really big help in answering P3 questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lee. Obviously, if I can see the energy coming right from the screen, I'm sure that our attendees can as well. You are definitely deserving of the honor presented in the recognition. You are a trailblazer within your own right, and the knowledge and experience and expertise that you bring to this industry is greatly appreciated. I encourage you to keep doing what you do because you are opening doorways and pathways for each and every one of us. So from the NAWIC organization, we want to say thank you. Thank you for sharing your time. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. I ask that you will stay with us. Everyone that is just coming into the room, I'd just like to let you know that that was our amazing woman in the spotlight, Miss Sue Lee. My name is Margaret Gashlin. I am the general contractor and owner of JMP Group LLC, which is a small business contracting company. We provide general contracting services for residential as well as commercial. And I can truly say that I am benefiting from the information being shared today. If you're just logging in, we did also have Miss Lisa Bouillon that also shared with us some of her knowledge and expertise. If you have any questions, we ask that you will please put them in the chat so that they can be directed to the appropriate speaker and we can address those questions at a later time. Also, we ask that you put your name, business, and other contact information in the chat so that we can follow up with you at a later date as well. We will move on to the next portion of our program where we will have the introduction of our next speaker. So if Ms. Katina McClinton can please unmute yourself so that we can introduce our next speaker. Thank you very much, everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Katina McClinton, and I am a general contractor in the state of Florida, providing residential and commercial work, new builds, additions, and so on. And I have the pleasure of introducing James D. McQueen. James D. McQueen was born and raised in Overtown. He is a long life member of historic Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church. He has been married to Sylvia Mathis McQueen for 37 years and has one son, Joshua Mathis McQueen. He is honored and humbled to serve as the executive director of the Southeast Overtown Park West Community Redevelopment Agency. The opportunities to assist is revitalizing this historic neighborhood is challenging and exciting. Mr. McQueen is a lifelong public servant who has served as chief of staff for 2 commissioners in the city of Miami and Miami-Dade County. His extensive experience with public policy has led him to many accomplishments with community outreach, revenue acquisition, and much more. For example, he assumed a crucial role in securing $14.5 million for the construction of sanitary sewers on the 7th Avenue Business Corridor and securing $6 million for the Miami-Dade Affordable Housing Foundation to build single-family homes. In addition, he has developed and directed numerous community outreach programs for the city of Miami and Miami-Dade County. James McQueen continues to be an advocate for the community he serves. And now I present to you, James D. McQueen. Thank you for being with us today, sir.
Thank you very much, Katina. Welcome, Mr. McQueen.
I appreciate this opportunity. I'm James McQueen, the Executive Director of the Southeast Overtown Park West Community Redevelopment Agency. And we have had the fortunate opportunity to assist in the redevelopment of a historic neighborhood in which I grew up. And one of the greatest honors of my life has been in being able to work toward its redevelopment. For years, this community was ignored by federal government, the state government, the county government, and the city of Miami. And it was destroyed because the federal government decided to run I-95 right through its heart, and it reduced the community from a vibrant community of approaching 30,000 residents to one that dwindled down to about 6,000 to 7,000. But it is our hope and our mission, in fact, to return our community to its glory days, and we are doing that in a number of ways. We have in the past I'm supported by a board of commissioners who act as my board, and they have dual roles. They're the board of city commissioners, but they're also the board of the CRA. Our mission and main objective is to spearhead this new development and redevelopment efforts, and that's been accomplished in a couple of ways. We have redeveloped new projects and built new housing, but we've also tried to ensure that the residents who were currently living here have been placed in situations where their living conditions have improved. We spent $60 million redeveloping 400 units of townhouses that had come into disrepair, had no work on them since 1970, and we, by gut rehabbing and new roofs, new windows, new doors, and gut rehabbing over 400 units, our CRA has spent $157 million in both new and rehabbing affordable housing. We spent another $31 million on quality of life, which includes programming to train the young people and to train many of our residents in the construction industry. An additional $17 million has been spent on infrastructure and $46 million on job creation. One of the things that we were concerned about when I first got here was, how do you protect and keep the neighborhood viable when there's such pressure, because we're located in between downtown Miami and Wynwood, and what we didn't want to see happen, we didn't want to become North Downtown, and we certainly didn't want to become South Wynwood. So we worked to beautify our neighborhoods and carve out a distinct look between these two vibrant communities, including creating an Overtown Business Resource Center, which houses small businesses and which also offers business assistance to the residents and businesses that are currently located over town. One of the things that was important to us was that we wanted to change the outlook of the neighborhood, and for so long, people literally were afraid to come in Overtown because of this perception of it being unsafe. And so we did two things. We invested heavily in increasing the amount of police presence that we have here, but more importantly, we created an Overtown beautification team called the Blue Shirts, which is manned by 15 residents who live over town, who are responsible for keeping our neighborhoods and areas clean. We have worked toward community collaboration. The transportation in Miami, the transportation system in Miami is a big challenge. But right in Overtown, the Bright Line train system came, and so we were able to invest $17 million to bring Tri-Rail along with Bright Line to downtown Miami and to Overtown. Currently, we are completing what we call Block 55, which is Sawyer's Walk. It is a retail and housing project. The retail component of it will include a Target, Burlington Coat Factory, Aldi's, and a Five Below. And on top of that structure, there will be 560 affordable apartment units for seniors. And we are offering subsidies to seniors who currently reside in Overtown. We are in the process now of planning an arts and cultural district that will be anchored by the Red Rooster restaurant that is currently open. We have collaborated with the Miami World Center, which is 27 acres just to the east of my office, that includes condominiums and retail spaces. So as you can see, we are growing rapidly, and we are doing all that we can to protect those who are indigenous to Overtown. So I just wanted to give you an outline, an outlook on where we are and where we see ourselves going in the future.
Thank you very much, Mr. McQueen. I know that what you're doing is very near and dear to your heart. We see your passion. We applaud your efforts and your work, and we ask that you will continue to do the work. And as we join you, we pray that you will guide us and direct us and our members and all those in attendance for how we can help to contribute to your goal, how we can participate. Please feel free to include in the chat any information where we can connect with you so that we can share the information with our members that would be interested in partaking in future projects with the Overtown CRA. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you for joining us, and please stick around for any questions. We do ask that if you have any questions for any of our guests, please include your questions in the chat and direct them accordingly. Thank you, Ms. Lee. I see that you have already been addressing questions in the chat already. So please, guests, feel free to put your questions in. As we proceed to the next portion of the agenda, we will continue to address your questions accordingly. Okay, so the next portion of our agenda will actually allow you the opportunity to go into breakout sessions. We will ask that you will share in that session your name, your business, the products and services that you provide. It's an opportunity for you to meet and greet and share and learn. So at this moment, you will be directed into different sessions, different chat rooms, so that you can share your information and meet the guests that are in attendance today. And then after, you will be redirected back to our main room. Thank you so much all for attending. As we continue, we ask that you will continue to be diligent in keeping your mute buttons, your buttons on mute until otherwise needed. I'll see you back here shortly.
All right, Margaret. All right. Miss Margaret. Miss Margaret Gashland. Do you want to introduce yourself again to everybody?
Yes.
Please? Thank
Yes,
you.
for anyone that didn't catch it before is just joining us. My name is Margaret Gashland. I am the general contractor and owner of JMP Group LLC, where we provide general contracting services for residential and commercial properties and projects. I'm also the new South Florida chapter president for the National Association of Black Women in Construction. So if there's anyone in the South Florida area that is tickled at the information that we're provided, that is interested in learning more about NAWIC and how we can help you to grow your business and advance your goals, please reach out, put your information in the chat so that we can follow up with you. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. And I'll open up the floor.
Well, so right now, Margaret, we are on YouTube, just the two of us, along with a couple of people who did not go to breakout. So Miss Elizabeth, and those of you who are still waiting to click that breakout button, please, Mr. McQueen, if you would click the breakout button on your screen, it would be great. Miss Elizabeth and others. Well, my name is Ann McNeil, and I'm the founder of the National Association of Black Women in Construction, and I am always very excited every time we host a $1 billion luncheon. And today is a very special day because one of the areas of conversation that we just finished discussing, Margaret, is the power of public-private partnerships, especially for small businesses. And personally, I have attended the public-private partnership conference for the last 11 years. Doesn't seem that long. And Margaret, they host a conference per industry. So they host one in healthcare, they host one in P3s for government, they host one for P3s in aviation, they host one for P3s in water, and almost each of the areas we host our $1 billion luncheon, the Public-Private Partnership Conference hosts their industry event for those agencies that are learning, and I did say learning because this is such a new concept, Margaret, that many of the cities, which mostly cities and some counties, they go to the public-private partnership conference with AI to learn how do you actually do a public-private partnership. And I know it's a lot of words. So have you ever thought about it yourself, Margaret?
I have actually thought about getting into that space, and part of the great thing of being with NAWIC is that you get to learn about a lot of things you didn't, right? As a small business owner, I came into this industry with no real direction. I started out as an investor who liked to flip houses, and I had to basically teach myself the business, right? So one of the great things about NAWIC is that you don't have to do it alone. There is so much knowledge and experience and expertise throughout this entire organization, meeting great women here locally and across the United States. So I encourage anyone, if there's an area that you are interested in finding out more of, join NAWIC, reach out. You get out of it what you put into it. I always say, if you don't make deposits in your bank account, you can't go and withdraw, right? So one of the things that I've done is poured myself into NAWIC so that I can absorb all the great information. Just as P3s, that was something new to me before I even became part of NAWIC organization. So I am very interested in the P3 space, how my business can participate and benefit, and how I can serve the community and what opportunities there are out there, because they are there. You just have to know where to go knock, what rocks to lift up, what rocks to pick up, what doors to open. But being part of NAWIC helps to guide you in the direction of that, right? So yes, I'm very excited about the P3 space, and I look forward to everything that I can learn and everything I've learned already today. Our Woman in the Spotlight was amazing. Lisa is amazing. They brought some really great information to help to educate us on P3 space, and CRA, Mr. McQueen, very, very knowledgeable in their industries, very passionate. And so I encourage each and every one of you to pour into it. Look for whatever information you can find, but if you're open to it, it will find you.
We want to remind all of our listeners, and thank you so much for that, Margaret. We want to remind all of you that we are the National Association of Black Women in Construction, and our vision is to continue to build long-lasting strategic partnerships with individuals that provide groundbreaking and innovative solutions to Black women and all women in general, but specifically Black women in the construction industry, and also into our respective communities, because we do cover girls, men, women, everybody. We're open to everybody. So I just want to make sure that I share that, because just because we are called the National Association of Black Women in Construction does not mean that all are not welcome. So we do want to make sure we share that. We also want to continue to repeat our mission. And the mission of this organization was founded to increase the national awareness of Black women in the construction industry. You would be surprised how many people don't realize we exist. And we also look to advocate for Black-owned businesses in our cities and throughout the space. So Margaret, I just want to come back to you and continue to thank you for your leadership. You know, you just kind of jumped, hit the ground running, and are doing a phenomenal job. So I do want to continue to say that, because, you know, I want to continue to lift you up. I want to continue to lift you up, Margaret, and you're doing an excellent job. So thank you so much for your leadership. And for those of you that's joining us, we want to ask you to go to our website at nawic.org and get more information about the organization. We will be hosting another $1 billion luncheon next month. We're going to be going back from this short commercial we're having right now. We're going to resume our program shortly as we get the notice that says the rooms are opening back up. Margaret, did you want to share anything else before she gives us the hook?
Just reach out to us. If you don't have a chapter in your area, you can still contact myself. I'll put my information in the chat. We can see about getting anyone in your area in contact with you as well. But please don't miss out on the opportunity to grow your business, to grow your organization, to grow for yourself. And that is what we're about. We want to create partnerships, as Ms. Ann said. So we welcome you to partner with NAWIC.
All right. Well, while everybody's coming back, I do want to say again, I cannot say enough about AI, which is where I met Lisa and where I met Sue and so many others as a part of the public-private partnership conference. Right, Sue? It's not an association. It is a conference. And for all of you who are not familiar and aware of AI, and if you're not aware and familiar with the public-private partnership conference, we're going to put the details in the chat again. I would strongly encourage you, if you want to learn more, this is where you will go to learn more about how to use these platforms to build your small business into a larger business. And I am personally a witness, because for going for over 11 years, I have learned so much. And more importantly, we bring it back here to NAWIC, and also we implement it. So now we can get back to the scheduled program. And I think that there's some photos and some other activities going on. So back to you, Margaret.
Thank you, Ms. Ann. Thank you for walking the walk. All right, I believe we are back, and we are going to prepare for our group photos. So I'll give you guys a couple of seconds so that you can prepare. Give us your best smile today as we capture this moment forever in time. So if you would please just give us a moment as we start to take our group photos.
Thank you, Margaret. So we are going to take our group photos. We have a nice large group today, so we need to take a few. So I will give you a break as I take the pictures in between. So I will do a countdown. All right, 3, I saw, okay, fixing glasses, fixing hair, okay. All right, doing a countdown. 3, 2, 1, hold for me, please. Thank you. I'm gonna take another one. All right, I see some of y'all jumping on. Excellent. All right, 3, 2, 1, hold for me, please. Thank you. And I'm going to take one more because some more people cut their cameras on. So we'll take one last one. 3, 2, and 1. Hold. Excellent. Got it. Back to you, Margaret. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed the opportunity to share with one another in our breakout sessions. And this is the time we're going to move forward with our program. I am excited to introduce our next speaker. And before she comes on, we will have Miss Stephanie to provide an introduction for us. Thank you, Stephanie.
Hello, everyone. My name is Stephanie Edwin Kanye. The name of my business is Black Girl with a Hammer. I am a real estate developer and real estate agent in the South Florida market, and I specialize in residential construction. It is my pleasure to announce Annabelle Emanuel currently serves as the Executive Director of North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency, where she leads the execution of the redevelopment plan for the agency's designated boundaries, which encompasses approximately 60% of the city. The agency mission is, I quote, to improve the residents' quality of life by eliminating and preventing slums and blight while enhancing the property tax base within the redevelopment area, end quote. Ms. Emanuel received her undergraduate and graduate degrees from the University of Miami, Go Canes. Her JD is from FIU College of Law, and her master's in law is in real estate and property development, also from the University of Miami. Her prior CRA experience includes her service as chief legal counsel and assistant director for the Southeast Overtown Park West CRA, and as the assistant director of City of Homestead CRA. Ms. Emanuel is a Class 8 member of the Miami Fellows and currently the District 8 appointee on the Citizens Advisory Committee for the General Obligations Bond Program for Miami-Dade County. She is also the member of several voluntary bar associations. Once again, Annabelle Emanuel.
Thank you, Stephanie. And we welcome Ms. Annabelle Emmanuel. Thank you as you take the floor.
Good afternoon now, everybody. Do I have sharing privileges?
Yes.
Yes.
You should.
Okay, one moment while I share my screen. Here we go. As we mentioned, I am the Executive Director for the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency, where our mission is to improve the residents' quality of life by eliminating and preventing slum and blight by enhancing the property tax base within our redevelopment area. We accomplish this goal and mission by the promotion of economic development with the participation of community partnerships. So we have many CRA grant programs, and I want to talk to you about our grant programs, but through the lens of the ways that you can engage with the North Miami CRA in work we're already doing. So the way that we're able to increase our tax base really is to make our redevelopment area look better. We're going to build a new community. So we have commercial grant programs, we have residential and neighborhood improvement grant programs. We also have larger scale infrastructure and tax incentive recapture grant programs. Beginning with our residential grant programs, we have 4 different categories. So we have our Paint Up program, where we can give applicants for single family homes up to $5,000 and up to $7,500 for multifamily dwelling units. That's 4 units or less, with a 60-40 match to go ahead and do exterior painting work for the property owner. We have our second program, which is our owner-occupied single-family homes program, where we will provide $30,000 to eligible owner-occupied homeowners with no match requirement to be able to do upgrades for eligible uses, which I will get into in another slide. Our third program is our beautification program for rental homes. So if you're not the actual resident in the owner-occupied home, but you own a home that you rent out to tenants, then we can provide you with $30,000 for a 70-30 match to be able to renovate that property. And if for multi-unit improvements that are 4 units or less, we give up to $30,000 with a 60-40 match requirement. Now, the type of work that you can complete with that are installation of impact windows and doors, awnings and canopies, painting and stucco, fences, gates, flood mitigation, septic to sewer conversion. And the reason I'm introducing all of this is because when we have our residential applicants, we actually have a qualified pool of contractors that we work with in order to get that work done, because a lot of times our residents they're so busy that we would prefer that we give them a list of contractors that we've already vetted and that can do the work, rather than them having to do the legwork to be able to go ahead and find a qualified contractor. So if you're interested in doing any of this kind of work, you can always reach out to the North Miami CRA. The last slide would have our contact information to say you're interested in being on that pool of qualified contractors, and we will walk you through that process with our purchasing department of how you can get vetted and be included in that listing. Now, if you're a company that can do commercial projects, the commercial grant programs that we have for our businesses, we have 3 that would be relevant to you. So the first one would be a beautification and enhancement grant program, where it does not have a match requirement, but we provide up to $25,000 to eligible property owners or business operators to improve the exterior and or interior. We also have a business attraction and expansion grant program, where we will cover up to 50% of the project costs, up to $150,000 for approved costs that are related to relocating and attracting new businesses within our redevelopment area. And now we also have a rehabilitation grant program. So if you're already within our redevelopment area and you just need to do rehab work, we have, again, another program where you can get up to $100,000, but that's a 50-50 match as well. Again, the kind of work that can be completed with that, you can pay for architect and engineer fees, you can do painting and stucco, some landscaping, parking and surface lots, electrical upgrades, interior renovation, awnings, impact windows and doors, and there is some roof work that can be done with these programs. So again, if you are a small business contractor that provides these kinds of work and you're interested in projects within the North Miami CRA, you can go ahead and contact us and we can let you know how to get involved in those kinds of projects. Now, we also have large scale development incentives. So for developers that are bringing multifamily, mixed use projects, large scale residential projects, we have two incentives. So the first one is a tax increment recapture incentive, where we offer up to 50% rebate on their tax increment that's generated by that project annually. In order to qualify for this incentive, you would need to show to us, the CRA, that once your project hits the tax rolls, you're going to add a minimum of $2 million to the increase in that tax base. The second one is an infrastructure grant, where this is what we call the upfront money. So we offer certain dollars towards project owners for eligible costs, but that's determined on a project by project basis. So at the beginning of the project, a project owner or a developer would come in with us, show us a pro forma, show us their capital stack, what they're trying to bring to the community, show us where their gap is. So they say, listen, our total project cost is going to be 100 million. We can find 95 million. We just need help with that last $5 million. And we really want to, and in exchange for that, we would like to provide you some affordable housing units, or we would like to create this many jobs, or we would like to do whatever it may be. They can go, and it doesn't have to be as large as $100 billion. I just used a different one. They're $20 million projects, and that's why I would say it's a project by project basis, depending on what that project is and how it's adding to the value within the CRA. We vet those projects individually. So then we would look at what their gap is and how we can benefit for the community, and come up with how much dollars we can give in infrastructure monies upfront. So for those applications, a developer or property owner is going to have to provide to the CRA a copy of their site plan, project description. We want to know who your team is. We also want to see details about your finances. Again, that's going to demonstrate to us how we're going to participate with the deal. And we want to make sure that you have the approvals from the city. So going through building department, zoning, making sure that the project you want to build is permissible within our boundaries. All of those things will have to come to us in your application for us to be able to view. Once we have decided to partner with a large scale development project, we will enter a grant agreement. And so some of the obligations under that grant agreement is job creation, retention, and verification. So we want to make sure that the work that they're doing, we want to make sure that small business construction companies are getting the opportunities, right? So we want to make sure if you're a small business construction company in the CRA, you're getting first dibs at these projects. Then within the city of North Miami, and then within Miami-Dade County. So that's the order of priority, that we want to make sure that our developers are vetting their jobs. And then we want to make sure that there are at least 2 job fairs. We are very heavily involved in that process to make sure that it's being done, and that those people who are within our boundaries are getting the opportunity to work and be able to contribute to the redevelopment of their community. We also have community benefits agreements that are a part of our grant agreement obligations. So Miami-Dade County has several ordinances, like the Small Business Enterprises Ordinance, community businesses, community small business enterprises, living wage ordinance, and of course, a conflict of interest and code of ethics ordinance, that we make sure that any developer that's getting significant amount of money from us, that they're going to comply with that. So we want to make sure that everybody's doing everything in order. This calendar year, we have a few projects that are coming online for completion. So we have Gardens Residences at NOMI, and 475 North Miami. And these are 3 completely different projects. I wanted to be able to give you an idea of the types of projects that we have funded in the past, so you can see whether or not these are opportunities that you would be interested in taking part in. So the Gardens Residence is an 8-story, 384 unit mixed use project with residential units ranging from studios to 3 bedrooms. And we were able to get 10% of those units earmarked for 80% of AMI and below, because we do want to make sure that affordable housing stays a priority within our boundaries. We also have retail space that is going to be available for business owners. We have amenities for those who are going to be living in that project. And the estimated construction cost before, when the deal was approved, was $57 million, and our investment was $8 million in infrastructure dollars. And then we also paired that with 50% TIF throughout the life of our agency, but it does not exceed $7 million. So overall, that is an investment of $15 million in this one project from the North Miami CRA. Residences at NOMI is a mixed income 55 plus community, and there's going to be 3 buildings of 175 dwelling units. There's also going to be a mix of office, retail, and amenities, and a 5-story parking garage. The unit mixes are going to be from studios to 2 bedrooms, and we have 22% of those units that are going to be targeted from 60% AMI to 120% AMI, again, making sure affordable housing is at the forefront of what we're investing in. This estimated project cost was $79 million, and our investment, again, was $8 million and 50% of their TIF throughout the life of the CRA. And the last project I wanted to highlight is a smaller project, but a still very important project. It's a 28-unit project where we have 18% of those units that are earmarked for 70% of AMI throughout the life of the CRA. This total project cost was $8 million, and our investment was $1.6 million in infrastructure dollars. Now, what's coming to the CRA is our priority corridors, right? We have 2 priority corridors, which are Northwest 7th Avenue and West Dixie Highway. Along Northwest 7th Avenue, we have a planned corridor overlay district where on the east side, you can build up to 200 feet, and on the west side, the building height is 55 feet. Now, we also have West Dixie Highway that does not have the PCD. However, there are several opportunities that are coming up for redeveloping both of these corridors. So if you're interested in a piece of property, or if you already have a construction idea for something that is on Northwest 7th Avenue and West Dixie Highway, we do have additional programs that we are working on in addition to what I've already mentioned to be able to incentivize development along those corridors. Again, anybody who's interested in working with the CRA, please contact us. Here's our physical address, our phone number, and our email, and I will be here for any questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Emanuel. So much great information that you have shared with us today. We really appreciate you taking the time out. If anyone has enjoyed or can benefit from all of the information that has been shared today, we encourage you to join the National Association of Black Women in Construction. This is what we do every day, right? We make these connections that you might not be able to make otherwise. And if you didn't know before today, now you know what are the opportunities that present themselves to you when you align yourself with an organization such as this one. We are working each and every day to ensure that we can build partnerships that are lasting, that are strong, that will help you to build your business and your community. This is what the National Association of Black Women in Construction is all about. So we welcome you. If you haven't already put your information in the chat, if you're interested in joining, please include your name and contact information in the chat, and we will have someone reach out to you. And also you can raise your virtual hand. Stick around when the program is over. We will provide some additional information for you. But if you're interested in changing your life, changing the trajectory of your future, don't waste a minute. Join NAWIC today so that you can partake in what you saw today and so much more. This will only be the beginning of a great future for you if you align yourself with an organization such as this. It's been a great benefit to myself, and I couldn't thank the women and the men that have poured into me and into my business more than I can today with words. But I can tell you it will not be something that you regret. So join today if you haven't already thought about it. If you know someone who could benefit from aligning with NAWIC, please make the connection, share information, reach out, and we will definitely have someone reach out to you as well. But please stick around after the program is over. We're not done yet. We are going to move on to the next part of our program for new member recognition. Again, I want to thank you, Ms. Emanuel. You shared so much great information with us. As you can see, there are great opportunities in North Miami, if you didn't already know today, but NAWIC and Ms. Emanuel brought that to you today. So please reach out, and I know that she'll be more than happy to connect us. Thank you, Ms. Emanuel. And we'll move on to our new member recognition with Ms. Elena Hercule.
Thanks, Margaret. I hope everyone's been enjoying this presentation. Again, it's a pleasure for NAWIC to bring that to you guys. My name is Elena Hercule, owner of HJ Construction Group. I'm a general contractor, and I provide consulting and construction management services with focus in multifamily and faith communities. It is also my honor and privilege to serve as NAWIC National Membership Chair. So you guys know what that means. I want everybody to drop membership in the chat if you would like to join NAWIC, and also click on the link. We have the membership link for you guys to click and go to our website and join now, just because I know you guys been enjoying all this information that we provided. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome our new members. We, in the span of 30 days, we welcome 3 small business members, India Channel Company, CKL Engineers, and Taylor English Duma. We have 2 of our members that level up to small business membership, Expert Dewatering, Catalyst Planning and Development, and we've added more than 13 individual members. We are also excited that this year in 2024, we have a partnership with MGL and Associate as an independent contractor as they operate the MBDA CRP. The MBDA Capital Readiness Program CRP, operated by MGL and Associate, provides no-cost technical assistance services to prepare and propel socially and economically disadvantaged individuals toward financial opportunities and business success. Services are available for startup and established businesses in Florida and the US territories, and to businesses that reach out to us from any other US state. The intake link is in the chat, so if you guys are interested in the MBDA Capital Readiness Program, please click on the link and we will reach out to you guys. Now, let's get to our call of action, what this is all about. Happy Black History Month to all of you guys. So NAWIC started the year strong with close to 200 members. We have chapters in Atlanta, South Florida, Detroit, and Chicago. And we currently have more than 16 areas that are gathering or getting ready to charter in the next year or so. We've established new areas in Philadelphia, looking to have some in Indiana as of 2024. Our goal this year is to go to 500 NAWIC members, partners who support NAWIC vision and mission. This year, one of our words is accountability. So here's the question for you guys. Have you guys renewed your NAWIC membership? Have you joined NAWIC? Have you sponsored or partnered with NAWIC to support the vision and mission of Black women in construction? We are the voice of Black women in construction. So how are you using your voice lately? Do you have skin in the game? Are you taking full accountability for how and where you show up? So please drop membership in the chat or click the link to join now as we welcome you as our next member next month in the organization. If you are interested, have any additional questions, and would like to learn more about NAWIC, please hang around after the presentation, after the announcement, because we will be in a breakout room to chat with you and welcome you and answer any questions that you might have. Again, it's my privilege and honor to be part of this organization, and hope to see you guys in the room. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elena. Thank you so much for serving and for everything that you do for the organization. That is our membership chair, and she does an amazing job. So when she gets her hands on you, though, she's not letting you go, but you won't regret it. Thank you, Elena. And we're going to move on to do some announcements, but before we do that, I'd like to give a special thanks to our supporting sponsors for the $1 Billion Luncheon this month, and that would be to Linda Matherin of AML Construction Contractors, Inc., as well as Josie Hood of HEJ Enterprise Corp. And JMP Group LLC. So thank you very much for your contributions. And please, if you can sit tight for a little bit, we're going to share some announcements and some future dates that we'd like for you to put on your calendar. You definitely don't want to miss out on what we have coming up. Our education committee is very busy providing knowledgeable information to our members. And we have coming up in March, which they will be covering Toggle AI. That will be presented on March 5th. So please make sure that you are able to attend. You don't want to miss out. Very great information. That will be at 9:30 via Zoom. There's also another event happening through the Education Committee, and that will be on Monday, March 11th, and that will be on Zoom at 11 a.m., and that will be for access to SBA surety bonds. Again, this is just a little sneak peek at some of the things that you enjoy as a NAWIC member. We're always looking to bring you valuable information to help you grow your business and to be able to provide services to your respective communities. Also coming up, save the date, we will have our next amazing $1 billion luncheon, and that is set for March 20th, same time, same place. So make sure you pencil that one in on your calendar. We'd love to see you there, and that will be covering general services administration opportunities. And also, Elena touched on this a little bit earlier, MBDA Capital Readiness Program. One of the things we highlight for our NAWIC members is getting you capital ready, right? If you're not ready for the opportunity, then the opportunity passes you by. So we are very strong on getting our members ready and connecting you with small business support. So this is an opportunity for you to connect and get yourself and your business in a position to be able to take advantage of all of these opportunities that are presented to you through the NAWIC organization. So again, that's the MBDA Capital Readiness Program. The information is there. You can find it in your chat. If you have any other questions about it, Elena is more than happy, I'm sure, to connect with you in the chat as well. We provide you information and direction so that you can take your business to a whole nother level. This is Margaret Gashlin, President of the South Florida chapter. I want to thank you all for taking the time to meet with us today. I know it's a virtual luncheon, so you're having your lunch in your respective places, but I hope that you have been filled with the valuable information that has been shared with you here today. A special thanks goes out to everyone that has participated and helped to make this a possibility, this event possible. Thank you to all of our speakers, Ms. Lisa Bouillon, our great and amazing woman in the spotlight, Ms. Sue Lee. Thank you, Mr. McQueen, as well as Annabelle Emmanuel. We appreciate you taking the time to come and share with our members and our guests. And we invite you to continue to fellowship with NAWIC. At this moment, we will be directing you into the rooms for membership. Do not wait. Take the opportunity today. You won't regret it. You can raise your virtual hand so that we can acknowledge and see who is interested in membership. But do not end this meeting today without taking that next step. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you. We appreciate your time. We invite you to continue to fellowship with us and join us at our next NAWIC event and our next $1 billion luncheon. I wish each and every one of you a wonderful and productive day. May you be continually blessed and protected in all your respective places. Thank you, everyone. And please stick around for those who are interested in membership. We will be with you momentarily. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day and a great week, rest of the week. Thank you for joining. We have a hand up, Ms. Tulsa Robinson. Please be sure to transfer into the membership room.
The breakout rooms are opening now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.